It's funny that Mark's telling me to start already because he has to work, but he's the guy who's late every damn time. Anyways, hello everyone. My name is Chris, Comic Vet. Hope this stream, is finding you safe and well. It is 28 degrees here in beautiful Ontario. That's approximately low 80s in the United States. However, it is really overcast and kind of looks like it's going to rain. I'll be honest, maybe not a bad thing. As I'm looking around, I see a lot of lawns that could be a lot more green than what they are. Ontario's been in the middle of a heat wave over this past few days. Yesterday was exceptionally hot. It was 33 degrees before the humidity, probably high 30s, which is probably in the neighborhood of high 80s, early 90s in the States. Some of us Canadians can't handle it. We'll just melt away. That's a joke. Bad joke. But anyways, let's just take a quick look at the chat. X11 Bravo, hope you're doing well, sir. Take care. Your neck of the woods. Hope you and your family are having a great day for this new comic book day. Mark, hope that you're okay. Hope everything's okay in your neck of the woods, man. I'm sure you're busy at work. James Willie, thank you for joining me again. As always, I appreciate your time. And, okay, here's Mark. Here we go. 28 there, low 80s here. That's a wild temperature change. Wrap up and stay warm, brother. Just remember, the entire planet knows when I say it's 28, they know what that means. It's just the United States that does not. But anyways, happy new comic book day for everybody. I am, again, just parked outside my LCS. I do have a large stack this week. I knew going into today that there was going to be a lot of titles I was going to be picking up. Besides just a handful of new #1s, there's a lot of ongoing books that I continuously read that came out today. And just to show you what I'm talking about, that's probably, I don't know, what's that, like 7 or 8 centimeters? No, that's probably about an inch and a half, almost 2 inches worth of books right there. And again, I'm pretty lucky. My LCS already has everything bagged and boarded, like he does for all his customers. And I'm going to go through my stack. I'm going to show you a spec book that I picked up, a big spec book that in the last 24 hours, a lot of people have been hopping on. And my LCS was kind enough not to upcharge me on it, just basically gave it to me for what it was priced last week. And I'm sure that you can probably guess on what that is. Anyways, he did throw into my bag the new DC Connect and the Marvels preview. This is the DC Connect, spotlighting One Dark Knight by Jock. I guess DC is giving Jock the opportunity to have his own singular Batman title, where he's both the writer and the illustrator. And it's going to be 3 issues, 48 pages each. So I'm presuming it's going to probably be somewhere between $7 to $10. And if Jock's the one that's drawing it, I'm going to be picking it up. I'll be honest. I think Jock is spectacular. But yeah, it does seem like it's an interesting, take. It's always darkest before dawn, if it ever comes. A bare knuckle brawl through the blacked out streets of Gotham, and inside there is a little teaser where basically we just see the Dark Knight jumping away with a very long cape, and then him kind of flying, and then the Batwing over Gotham's harbor. Yeah, I'll be picking it up. And it is being billed under the Black Label. Good for DC. And speaking of franchise-type characters, on Marvel's previews front cover, Donnie Cates and Ryan Ottley, they're taking over the Incredible Hulk. And it looks like this is going to be the main cover for Hulk #1. And below the tagline is "Immortal No More." So I don't know if they're kind of take a shot at what Al Ewing's doing, or they're just trying to take the Hulk in a totally different direction. It's Donnie Cates. We know that he's going to be taking it in a totally different direction. But on the back, that I did notice, Avengers 750th issue, bannered under Avengers 50, is going to be coming out. And they're going to be having Dr. Doom as the main villain. Win-win. All right. Let's just take a look at the chat here. Ignacio has joined me. Hey, everyone. And yeah, I totally get that 28 degrees Celsius. We have 17 here, a part of my Argentina. Thank you for joining me, my man. Hope that you're doing well. X11 has joined us. He's back like a vertebrae. Sir, hope you're doing well. Happy birthday. Thank you for joining me. Flash by Night. All right. Let's get into some of the books I picked up today. I'll start with my independents, like I always do. And we'll go to Boom Studios. And my favorite title over the last basically 2 years, as it starts to rain here. Issue 19 of Something is Killing the Children has been released. This is a little bit of a lackadaisy cover, I gotta be honest. This is not going to be winning any cover of the week awards for, I think, myself or anyone else that's in the chat. And yeah, Something is Killing the Children. Let's reduce that banner. There we go. So yeah, it's to me it's almost like an artist alley type of cover that you would walk down any con artist alley and see a blank sketch cover. Not to take anything away from the artist. It's just Something is Killing the Children lately, even with the normal A covers, have been pretty wild covers. This one, maybe I'm just not a fan of the water type of color. Anyways, yeah. Let's hope the interior is a lot better, or let's hope the story on the interior is a lot better than what the cover is providing us. Anyways, issue 18 I thought was a big pickup from what we've been having with Erica's origin story. I am looking forward to this one. I will continuously buy the story regardless if I think it's a fantastic issue or just a good issue. I'm just in love with the series, and you all basically know why. But anyway, Something is Killing the Children, issue 19, and their boring-ass cover. Ignacio, good for you, man. I hope I'm not distracting you that much, so I appreciate you joining me. Thank you. Continuing with the independents, on to Image. This was my LCS's pick of the week, and it's issue number 1, Echolands. I knew nothing about this book walking into my LCS, but again, I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention again. When my LCS recommends something to me privately or something that's their pick of the week, he usually hits 100%. He has really good taste when it comes to new books. Echolands. Issue number 1 from Image. It's brought to us by J.H. Williams III, W. Hayden Blackman, Dave Stewart, and Todd Klein. Again, I don't know anything about this series, and sometimes that's actually a good thing. When you walk into, or when you get recommended a book and you don't know anything about it, and you enjoy it, it's usually something that you talk about with your friends and recommend it thereafter. But yeah, Echolands, issue number 1. Let's move into the big boys. Start with Marvel, and whenever I talk about Marvel, I always lead with the franchise, my favorite character of all time. It's The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 72, brought to us by Nick Spencer. Anyways, this is continuing the Sinister War. Probably Nick Spencer's best work when it comes to Spider-Man has been this new Sinister War, and it's actually just good. But anytime you have almost all the rogues gallery show up in The Amazing Spider-Man, it has no choice but to be good. When you have 4 different Sinister Six types of teams attacking Peter all at once or from different ways, it's hard not to be good. And I guess that's why Nick Spencer is kind of leaving. He's going out with a bang. So he's doing the best that he can to try and, uplift his, shall I say, legacy on what The Amazing Spider-Man is. Either way, bring on issue 76. This is issue 72, continuing the Sinister War, The Amazing Spider-Man. Miss O, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me, and I appreciate that you're listening while you're working. As always, thank you. continuing with Marvel and continuing with the franchise, and a writer who gets Peter Parker correct most of the time is Chip Zdarsky. And I picked up Spider-Man Life Story Annual #1. Again, a little bit of just a plain type of cover. You know, I kind of prefer the action kind of stuff, but all right. Again, it's Chip Zdarsky doing Spider-Man for the cover, so maybe Chip had a free afternoon and slapped together a quick cover, because I've seen Chip do free sketches and that kind of stuff, and he puts out good stuff and he does it really quickly. So I'm kind of thinking when he had a little bit of downtime, he did the cover for this. But either way, Spider-Man Life Story Annual #1 is brought to us by Chip Zdarsky. Bags does the interior, Mark Bagley, and yeah, anytime Zdarsky does Spider-Man, I pick it up. And Sunday night on Mark's channel at week's end, Legion Comics, of course, I'll let you know if this book I feel is worth recommending. Nasio has said, not a distraction at all. Really appreciate the company. Well, I appreciate your time. Continuing with a story that I think is quietly pretty good. It's a book that was a little controversial at first. I don't get why, but to each their own, man. Controversy, a lot of it is just manufactured most of the time, let's be honest. Especially when it comes to comic books. Generate a little bit of controversy, sells books, secondary market spikes for a few weeks, and then it drops out. I.e. Batman and the whole Robin thing going on right now. But the book that I'm talking about that was somewhat controversial when it first came out is The United States of Captain America. This is Captain America. This is United States of Captain America, issue #3, brought to us by Chris Cantwell. I did enjoy issue #1. It was a little weak with certain plot devices. The whole idea of Cap being jumped at home and losing a hand-to-hand battle at home and losing the shield, I thought was just a little outrageous. But you know, the story has to start somewhere, I'm presuming. But yes, Captain America, or The United States of Captain America, issue #3, basically a story that's spotlighting Steve and Sam as they cross the United States, trying to get their hands back on the shield from the person that stole it from them, while they're also dealing with someone who's sniping them off. Is it the same person? Probably. Or I should say, is it the same villain? Probably. But what they're realizing is different communities that they're visiting to try and get the shield back. Someone has stepped up in that community and put on the Captain America uniform to defend their community, and those are different characters that we're being introduced to. This particular one spotlights a Native American, and I gotta admit, that looks pretty pimp, man. That is a tough-looking dude. So it's well drawn, and yeah, I will continue to pick up this mini-series. I believe it's only 5 issues. If I'm wrong, please someone correct me. But yeah, United States of Captain America. I am a Captain America reader. X11 Bravo on point. The cover, though, pretty dope. I have a couple more Marvel titles. These ones are ones that I just quietly read to quietly read. It's not something that's a big bragging point, but issue #10 of Black Widow came out today, and I picked it up. If you're not reading Black Widow, that's okay. But Kelly Thompson, take it from me, is doing a very good job with Black Widow. I know a few issues ago there was some spec value, I believe, with issue 6 or issue 7. But yeah, it's a very good book, and I do enjoy Ms. Thompson. I believe it's still her that's writing this. There is no credits on the front cover. But yeah, Black Widow issue #10. The one thing I can say about this series is that it does have a lot of cover appeal. Most of the Black Widow covers for this particular run have been pretty damn cool. Whether you picked them up or not, I'm sure that they caught your eye and you took a quick second to look at it. Either way, Black Widow #10. I'll be reading it. And the final book that I picked up from under the Marvel franchise banner is issue 16 from Donnie Cates' Thor. A year ago, this time, I can almost promise you, everyone that's watching this was in on the Thor game. Whether you're picking it up to read or you're picking it up for potential spec value, we all know that Donnie Cates' Thor a year ago was the hottest thing going. Black Winter, Thanos, Galactus. It was just craziness. Books going, like random issues going to 6th and 7th printings, and those books being slabbed up and sold for more, being sold for 3 figures on eBay and secondary markets. Anyways, as we all know, a year later, most of those books have cooled down. You can pick up the first appearance of the Black Winter in a 9/8 first printing for less than $100 now. But Thor still continues on. This is issue 16 of Donnie Cates's pretty damn good run on Thor. I gotta admit, I kind of like his run on Thor more than I enjoyed his run on Venom. But when you're a Spider-Man fan and you grew up with Spider-Man, Venom will always be the enemy, right? Can't be a hero. But that's just me. Anyways, this one is the barroom bonding with Odin, where we have Loki in the background, looking at some paperwork, kind of looking like he's playing cards, and we have Odin and Thor squaring off in a bar. Let's see. Mars has joined us. Mars Comics. Hello, Chris. Happy New Comic Book Day. Happy New Comic Book. Happy New Comic Book Day to you too, my man. I appreciate you joining me. And yeah. So that's my Marvel run. Let's get on to DC, and we'll start with DC's franchise. And whenever Detective Comics comes out, I never pick up the A cover because I pick up the B cover, and the B cover always belongs to Lee Bermejo. And as most of you know, Lee Bermejo is one of my absolute favorite cover artists today. I would say that he's becoming a master artist. He's right up there with Alex Ross when it comes to paintings, except he just doesn't have the notoriety yet. This, again, is a candidate for cover of the week. Here we have The Dark Knight being spotlighted with Night Vision. Detective Comics, 1042. I don't know where I was going with 1029, but anyways, yes. The very cool thing about this cover is you can see Batman's being looked at through some sort of night vision, but if you look at the shadow over here, you can see that someone's pointing a weapon at him. Pretty cool. Lee Bermejo, my goodness, sir, if you ever see my videos, God bless you. You're doing wonderful things. I will always pick up your stuff. And I know it's not lost on me that there are some bullet holes in the walls that's behind Batman right there. But yeah, again, I don't know how long it takes him to do covers for Detective Comics, but I really feel he is the best Batman cover artist right now. Moving on. A book much like Black Widow, and I'm not saying this because this is a female character, but it's a book that I just pick up monthly because it's a book that I quietly enjoy, and it's hard for me to leave on the shelf just because, yeah, I like the character, but the story is actually pretty damn cool as well. This is issue 778 of one part of the trilogy that represents, or pardon me, one part of the Trinity that represents DC. It is Wonder Woman. I've been reading Wonder Woman continuously for about 2 years now. Sometimes I go for the B cover. Joshua Middleton does it. He does some fantastic Wonder Woman covers. Or if Jenny Frison does it, I'll pick that up as well. 9 times out of 10, though, because it's just a story read or story grab for me, without the idea of spec value, I just grab the normal cover A. This does feature a backup story again, The Adventures of Young Diana. It's just been okay. The main storyline done by Cloonan has been much better. But again, just another reason why to jack up the price of the book by an extra buck. 2 stories in one. Either way, it's $4.99 US, and I'm continuing to pick up Wonder Woman. Mars is saying, yeah, I have Thor on my pull list, and just get the regular covers. Yep. Like I mentioned, my man, I kind of think Cates' run on Thor has been better than his run on Venom, but to each their own. You know, I'm sure there's a vast amount of people that would argue with me, and God bless them. But I mentioned at the top of this live stream, my LCS cut me a deal on a big-time spec book that's gone spec in the last 24 hours. You could probably guess what it is. he charged me $10 for what I feel is at least a 9.6 candidate, and it's Image's Skybound brand. Yeah, I guess Skybound is its own publishing house now under the Image banner. It's Robert Kirkman's Oblivion song. This is issue number 1. And in case you didn't know, the news was released yesterday about this book. This book is now optioned, and Jake Gyllenhaal has been signed on to star in the film or series. I'm presuming it's a film. And yeah, so that's a lot of Robert Kirkman's stories now put into option. It seems like Firepower is the next one that could be on the list. A book that I pick up every month and read, and it's just quietly good fun. Nothing spectacular about it, but it's just good fun. And yes, Oblivion song has been optioned. Jake Gyllenhaal has been cast. Whether he's going to produce it or not, I don't know. Whether it's been produced or whether it's been optioned to his own company, I don't know. But most actors nowadays start their own company so that they can try to have a little bit more of the profits when it comes to film. But yesterday, Oblivion song was optioned, and that book went through the roof immediately on eBay. And yeah, my shop said, when I mentioned, like, hey, so did you hop on that Oblivion song resale kick that happened yesterday? He's like, I heard about it. I pulled my he goes, I have 4 copies of issue number 1. I pulled them away. I sold 2 already this morning. He goes, I have 2 more. I'll sell it to you what I had the price on it last week. He goes, Chris, it was just $10. You can have it for $10. Here's the 2 copies. Pick whatever one you like better. I thought about picking up both, I got to be honest, but I didn't want to be that guy. So Oblivion song, issue number 1. Find out what all the hype's about. I'm going to read it, I'll be honest. I'm going to crack this book open, and I'm going to read it. I do enjoy Kirkman stuff. Yeah. Oblivion song, number 1. So Mars was asking, really, what news? And oh, cool, I have that book. Well, sir, if you have that book in a 9.8 and you don't love it, throw it on eBay. You're going to make yourself some quick money. And LCS Station, hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate your time. Last Sunday, Mark from Legion of Comics and myself released 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks, a weekly show where both of us, 2 second-generation comic book readers, suggest what you may want to consider picking up. And these are the books that we are going to be picking up, and that the books that we are most excited about for multiple reasons. Cover art, spec value, story value, issue number 1s, certain variants, certain exclusives, many different things. We've been down many different avenues when it comes to 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks. Mark's hot pick was A, it's a number 1, B, potential spec value, and C, and probably the most important of them all, C, it's a part of his childhood. Nostalgia goes a long way sometimes when you go to pick a comic book. This is issue number 1 of 6 from DC Comics, Superman 78. I went with just a normal A cover. And what this book is, in case you're unfamiliar, is much like Batman 89, which just came out, I believe, last week. What they've decided to do is write a new storyline in the universe of the original Superman movies starring Christopher Reeve, originally done by director Richard Donner. So as you can see, a lot of the characters on the front here look like the original actors and actresses, Christopher Reeve, Canadian Margot Kidder, and legendary actor Gene Hackman. And apparently this 6-issue miniseries is going to be focusing in on Christopher Reeve's Superman, set in 1978, taking on Brainiac. How cool is that? It's definitely something that any Superman movie has yet to explore outside of the idea of Kevin Smith writing a script a handful of years ago in which Brainiac was supposed to be the main villain. I don't know why they keep not focusing in on Brainiac. To me, he's one of the A-list villains when it comes to Superman. Either way, I'm excited about it. The whole idea of it does tug at my heartstrings, as Christopher Reeve was the Superman that I grew up with, and he'll always be Superman. As much as I love Henry Cavill, which I think is a perfect casting as Superman, much like those that are part of my generation, Christopher Reeve was first for us, and he will always be Superman. But Mark's hot pick, Superman 78, and from what I've heard, it actually delivers, and it is a very good story, much like Batman 89. My hot pick from this past Two Cool Guys Hot Picks past Sunday was pretty damn predictable. Mark actually said to me earlier last week, saying, I know what our picks are both going to be. Mine's going to be Superman 78, and yours is going to be King Spawn. And I'm like, well, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Anyways, King Spawn is supposedly, it's being billed as the first Spawn title released by Todd McFarlane since Spawn was released 30 years ago. Well, there should be an asterisk on that, because there's been a bunch of different Spawn titles that have been released during that time. Sam and Twitch comes to mind. There's been other miniseries. There's been a hell of a lot of one-shots and miniseries on top of that. And PTT, I see that you joined me. Thank you very much. I am going to talk about the book that you're mentioning right now. Now, the thing about King Spawn is it came in with a lot of hype because Todd decided to do a signing for a handful of super exclusive books. I believe there was like 600 maybe that Todd tagged, and it came in, and it's being sent to you or to retailers with a certificate of authenticity that CGC will accept. And so, yeah, those books have gone through the roof. I've seen a video where someone actually purchased 2 of those signed books. It's basically just a variant of the normal A cover that came out, or pardon me, the Todd McFarlane cover. The A cover is actually the one I'm using for my thumbnail. The book I decided to go with was actually done by a Canadian. Now, I know what you're thinking right away. Chris, you're going with the Todd McFarlane cover because he's Canadian. You're Canadian. You're doing that whole thing. Not at all. I didn't go with the Todd McFarlane cover for King Spawn. I went with Canadian David Finch's cover for King Spawn. Not because he's Canadian, or not because of the fact it's David Finch, who is another master artist, and I'm sure you all would agree with me. I went with it because it's just fucking incredible. This is King Spawn #1, the variant from David Finch. Now, David Finch does do a lot of fantastic work. Wonder Woman most recently comes to mind, a part of the ongoing series that he was doing with his wife Meredith, who was writing that 12 or 15 issue run that they were doing together. David Finch also has done many things across DC, Marvel, and Independence. There's probably way too many for me to even a list, but we all know David Finch is a fantastic artist. And when I saw this variant cover, when I was doing the editing for Two Cool Guys Hot Picks this past Sunday, I said to myself, if I can get that damn cover, I'm going to pick it up. And yeah, to me, it's a throwback to what Todd was doing in the first 25 issues and that look of Spawn. And this one took me right back there. The whole idea of Todd, or of Spawn, being on a gargoyle off a church or whatever. The background might be a little bit plain, but the artwork and the detail itself is fantastic. It almost has a little bit of that Mike Mignola Hellboy feel to it. But yes, David Finch's take on Spawn, King Spawn, issue #1. I try not to swear on my channel. I'll be honest. I try not to swear on Mark's channel out of respect for him and his LCS that pumps out his creativity work. But my God, boom, fantastic! I would love to see Lieber Mayo and David Finch combined to do a cover. Yeah, King Spawn #1. So yes, Mike Ruth is amazing. If you have the chance, PTT, to watch Slab Hub on Rob's Fat Stack of Comics this upcoming Saturday, I will be spotlighting some of the original work that I have slabbed from Mike Ruth. But PTT just mentioned a few moments ago that his pick for this week was Echolands, and I can honestly say to him, I have that book. It was the first book that I showed for this feed, and I'm going to spotlight the books that I just showed. And so yeah, King Spawn #1. I just flashed the hell out of it. You don't need to see it again. But Mark's hot pick was Superman 78, issue #1. It's a mini series of 6, basically spotlighting a different story based in Christopher Reeve's universe of Superman. I picked up the Oblivion song #1, A, for spec value, B, because I want to check it out and try to educate myself a little bit of it. This book was optioned yesterday. The news came out that Jake Gyllenhaal will be starring in this movie. If you have yourself a copy of #1 and you don't love it, sell it. Sell it right now. You might be able to make yourself a quick buck. From DC, issue 778 of Wonder Woman. I do enjoy Wonder Woman. One of my candidates for cover of the week, of course, by Libra Mail, Detective Comics 1042, where we have the Dark Knight spotlighted in night vision. On the Marvel, Thor, issue 16 from Donnie Cates, featuring Thor taking on Odin on the cover, and of course Loki in the background being all Loki. What would be really cool is if there was a secret variant where we had like the alligator Loki somewhere in the background. That would be sweet. Marvel, if you're listening, that's an idea for you right there. Issue #10 from, it does say Thompson on it. I was wrong. But yes, Black Widow, issue #10, legacy number, issue 50. But yeah, the one thing I just noticed right now is that they have Thompson Industries, Kelly Thompson, the writer, and then they have the Bel Air Hotel. I believe Bel Air is the interior artist. Issue #3 of the United States of Captain America, with this very cool cover as well, where we can see a new Captain America from the community that he lives in, portrayed by a Native American. Pretty damn cool. Is it Tobias? I really don't want to pronounce your last name the wrong way. But anyways, I'm well. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. As you know, I really enjoy your Instagram stuff. Chip Zdarsky's Spider-Man Life Story, annual #1. Just in case you weren't aware, Spider-Man Spider Shadow by Chip Zdarsky ended a couple weeks ago. So Marvel, with their brilliant knowledge, decided to keep Chip Zdarsky doing Spider-Man stories. So this is the offering for this week. Spider-Man Life Story, annual #1, with the interiors done by Mark Bagley. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Continuing with the franchise, on to the franchise title. It's the Amazing Spider-Man issue 72 by Nick Spencer. Continuing the Sinister War. Just looking at this cover, kind of looks like Mark Bagley. And it is. But yes. Now, like I mentioned when I showed this book originally, I have been enjoying the Sinister War. I kind of feel it's hard not to mess up something like the idea of the Sinister War, where you have 4 different groups of the Sinister Six taking on Spider-Man all at once. It's hard to mess up that whole concept. So Nick Spencer, I guess, is saving the best for last, or is just trying to create some sort of legacy for his time on the Amazing Spider-Man, because most Spider-Man readers, like myself, would say kind of gets a failing grade. Way too much of a certain villain he's been focused on, way too damn long, and yeah, it's been kind of silly. But the Sinister War has actually been pretty good. not great. But it's hard to mess it up when you have basically all the Rogues Gallery, you know, in Spider-Man all at once. Amazing Spider-Man issue 72. My candidate for worst cover of the week is issue 19 from Boom Studios. It's James Tynion's The Fourth. Something is killing the children. Okay, so I just call him Tat. Sounds good. But yeah, again, I'm sure there's, you know, the fact that we have a hidden face here and, you know, a little bit of stuff down here. I'm just not a fan of watercolors when it comes to comic book covers. And again, I think that this is, you know, a type of cover that you would see as a commission at a Comic-Con, walking through Artist Alley. That something an artist would have sitting in, you know, sitting on their table for, you know, 60 or 65 bucks as a piece of original work. That's why we have chocolate vanilla, right? Like, not everything is for everybody. And again, issue 18 of Something is Killing the Children got a lot better, in my opinion. But this particular cover, to each their own. I will continue to buy this series because I love this series. But, you know, the last cover with, you know, with the dragon on the cover, and, you know, like, I thought it was pretty damn sweet, kind of sinister. This is kind of something that should be just limited to 100, based out of Frankie's Comics kind of thing. It's not something that should be a normal cover A. Was Janie Frizen busy? Like what happened there? Anyways, Ruben Guzman, thank you for joining me. Hope that you're doing well. Cowabunga. Tap. Yeah, it's a lazy ass cover to me. Meh. How else can you describe it? Meh. Again, I don't want to say I could do that, but I could do that. Anyways, a book that PTT had mentioned was his hot pick a little while ago. Let me spotlight it because I do believe in giving people props. His was Echolands. Echolands issue number 1. It's being released from Image. And I got to be honest, PTT and everyone else, in case you missed this off the top, I know nothing about this book. I did not know this book was coming out. I don't know why the main character kind of looks like Red Robin Hood. I don't know anything, but I'm going to. This book was my comic shop's hot pick of the week. It was spotlighted right when you walk in the door. And like I've said before, my LCS owner, when he generally says to me privately, you're going to like this book, or when he spotlights a book for all his customers, 100% of the time, he is correct. Maybe it's because him and I, same generation, same type of reading style. I don't know. But Echolands, issue number 1. This was the only cover that he had there. And yeah, so I decided to pick it up on his recommendation alone. And apparently, Promiscuous Time Traveler, who has interviewed The Rock, by the way. The Rock. If you're not subscribed to PTT, you need to sub him up right now and go check out his interview with The Rock. It's actually hard hitting. Anyways, his pick, he is an independent lover, I got to be honest, was Echolands, issue number 1. Again, Sunday night on Mark's channel, Legion Comics, at week's end, I will be joining him and Ryan from the Cosmic Campfire, and we'll be doing a big spoiler look back on books, and I will talk about Echolands number 1. Ryan probably will too, because Ryan is a big independent lover, and knowing Mark, if multiple people are recommending this book, he's going to probably pick it up as well. But yes, Echolands number 1. I don't know anything about it, and I love when I don't know anything about a comic book. But let's see. Tap is saying it's plain. It's plain. It's plain. It's amazing landscape art. Are you talking about this? Amazing landscape art? Come on, man. Mars is saying, I heard Echolands was awesome. Of Cool. Good to know. Good to know. I don't like wasting my money, I'll be honest. And I believe it was actually a little bit more of an expensive book. Is it on the back here? Oh, $4.99. It is billed as a mature book. So I'm going to have to contact my mom and see if it's okay that I read this book. Because my mom is like that. But anyways. Yeah, PTT. In case you didn't know, his name is Kyle. But yes. Okay. The type of format that he's saying. Yes, it does feel like it's a little bit of a different book. But yeah. Again, I don't know much about the book. I shouldn't say I don't know much. I don't know anything about the book. But it kind of looks like we have Little Red Riding Hood on the cover. I do have to, reduce it to something silly when it's something that I don't understand or that I know anything about. But yeah. So that's pretty cool. Echoland's #1. My candidates for cover pick of the week, as always, Liber Mayo, Detective Comics 1042. This will probably have 2 different stories in it, like most Detective Comics do lately. And this fantastic cover by David Finch, King Spawn issue #1 variant. I believe it's just a normal variant. It's not like it's 1 in 5 or 1 in 10 or a store exclusive, but it does have a cover price of $5.99. It does feel like it's a little bit of a thicker book. If I do remember when I was talking about this book on Sunday that it was supposed to be a thicker book, but again, those are my 2 covers. And since we're still talking about Echolands, and PTT has just said you read Echoland sideways, let's just pull this out and I will show you what he's talking about. This comic book does not open this way. It opens this way. So yes, this is the type of comic book you read, like this. Wow, it is pretty prestige. And pretty violent, just by looking at the interiors. Pardon me. But yeah, Echolands. So that's my new comic book day haul, everybody. I'm not going to take any more of your time. I am going to quickly show that my LCS did throw in the two preview books from both Marvel and DC. This one spotlighting Donnie Cates' Hulk, issue #1, where they kind of make fun of the idea of immortal Hulk being immortal no more. And a book, I got to be honest, just from the cover of this alone, has kind of got me excited because I am a fan of Jock and his fantastic artwork, especially when it comes to the Batman Who Laughs. Oh, does anyone do the Batman Who Laughs better than Jock? Maybe Greg Capullo? To each their own. But yes, Batman One Dark Knight being spotlighted on the cover of DC Connect. It's a 3-issue miniseries being released by Black Label. I will be picking it up. Jock seems to have full control over this 3-issue miniseries as both writer and illustrator. I like Jock. I gotta be honest. I gotta watch what I say here. I can see Whack Comics kind of screwing around the editing when I say that. But anyways, I better get out of here. Anyways, to all of you that are still here, to those of you who have been listening at work, to those of you who are watching, thank you very much. As always, I appreciate your time. In the next day or 2, I will be having a video coming out called The Killing Grail, where I get my hands on a personal grail of mine, a grail that most people already have. It is in the CGC 9.8. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm still working on a video for talking about the variants when it comes to the movie poster homages for Stray Dogs. I got turned on to Stray Dogs later in the miniseries. It was something that I thoroughly enjoyed. If you haven't been picking up issues of Stray Dogs, try to do it. Try to do it. They're only going to go up in value, I promise. And on Saturday, you can join me on Rob's Fat Stack of Comics YouTube channel around 2:30 Eastern Time, 11:30 Pacific Time, where we're going to be doing Slab Hub. And this week, I'm going to be showing off some of my own slabs, spotlighting some original artwork slabs that I have. Sunday, Mark and myself will be releasing 2 cool guys, 2 hot picks like we do every Sunday, where both of us, being second-generation comic book readers, tell you what we think you may want to consider picking up this new comic book day. And Sunday night, as always, I try to be a regular on Mark's channel for At Week's End, where collectively the three of us, Mark, Ryan, and myself, talk about all the books we just picked up and whether we thought they were great or not so great. Yeah, you guys are really cool dudes. Anyways, everyone, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week in my car around the same time. Until I see you then, stay safe. Take care, everyone.